Welcome back, wonderful humans. I'm Danielle and I currently live alone and I'm trying to shift towards healthier meals whilst remaining on a budget. In fact, this week I had a whole 45-minute conversation with one of the NHS nutritionists. But what did I end up having on Saturday? Well, I skipped breakfast and then for lunch I went and had a chicken honey and mustard roll from Greg's, along with some boiled eggs and then a large orange juice. And in the afternoon, we'd gone into Lidl and I got my free sweet treat and I went for the speckaloos and white chocolate donut. It was super tasty but incredibly sweet. Then for my dinner, I attempted to make a beef curry. It went completely wrong. Don't really want to talk about it, but I instead figured that it was a bit more like a sort of curried flavoured stew. So I had that alongside some rice. It's the first time I've made rice in a normal pan for a while, so I'm surprised it went as well as it did. Then for Sunday, again, I completely skipped breakfast. I was having a bit of a slower Sunday, minding my own business a bit, and I just ended up having the very last mince pie that I had for my lunch. And I definitely think that I will be making them again nearer to Christmas now that I have figured it out. And then for dinner, I obviously made too much of that sort of beef curry stew situation. So instead, I decided to put it with some noodles and kind of turn it into a bit of a ramen. I figured that would be a good way to sort of solve the situation of it having so much liquid in the first place. But then for Monday, I did manage to sort of get myself up and awake. And for breakfast, I didn't have anything super fancy. I just put some peanut butter in between the rest of the mini tortillas that I had. Wanted to use those tortillas up before they did go bad. And I was in the mood for peanut butter. So I figured what better combination to do. Then for lunch, I had some pumpkin soup. I actually made this all in a big pan, in a saute pan, and I had obviously some of that for that day. And then for some afternoon snacks, I did crack open the milk chocolate digestives. Don't worry, I didn't eat as much of this packet as you might think, but I did have some of them anyway. And yeah, I I was kind of in the mood of if I use them up, then once again they are gone. I do have some dark chocolate ones that I want to do in some Rocky Road at some point. But then for dinner, I went and did some mashed potato, put a bit of whole grain mustard in there, a chicken Kiev, and then I pan fried up some green beans as well. Pretty decent meal. Obviously, not necessarily the most nutritious and well balanced, but still yummy all the same. For Tuesday, I didn't end up having any breakfast, but I did have some morning snacks during my lunch break of a Baby Bell and one of those sort of pretend pepperami sticks that I could get in Lidl. Definitely kept me going and filled up that little hole, and I had some more of those digestives as well. My lunch breaks were in a bit of a terrible place actually for work this week. They decided to schedule my lunch in for 2 until 2:30 for most of the week, which obviously put me in a bit of a predicament. But we did have some meetings that finished early and some offline time. So I made the most of it and I heated up some more of that soup at a more reasonable time of day instead. I think because of those breaks, I ended up being able to eat it around midday. But then later on, when it was the actual 2 o'clock break, I did go ahead and have a banana. Just wanted something to keep me going. And obviously, there's definitely a lot worse things to eat than an actual banana. So I had that. Then for dinner, I decided to make I'm going to call it a chicken stroganoff. I will continue to call it that, but I am fully aware that this is definitely not a chicken stroganoff, more just kind of creamy tagliatelle chicken with some mushrooms and courgettes mixed through there. I did end up making enough to have 4 leftovers, so you'll be able to see that again probably today on the Wednesday as well. But for Wednesday, I managed to make sure I did actually have something resembling breakfast. It was just a banana because, again, I was starting work at 8. So I wasn't really wanting to get up super early to have anything in terms of more of a proper breakfast. So I just grabbed that as I was logging into work. And then during my morning snacks, which was I think for me 11:15 this day, so pretty much lunchtime. But again, I just had another Baby Bell and another one of those knockoff pepperoni sticks, which I will say is super tasty. I'd say actually to me they probably taste better than the actual branded ones, and they're obviously a lot cheaper as well. So that's at least a win. But then for my lunch, I ended up, as I mentioned, having the rest of that sort of chicken stroganoff. As you can see, obviously, I had to microwave it and reheat it, but in doing so, some of that tagliatelle did end up falling apart and breaking up. just because of the type of sauce it was. It did all clump together pretty significantly. It was still tasty and yummy and definitely filled that hole for a while as well. Then for afternoon snacks, this was probably at my around 4 p.m. break. I just had a couple more of those milk chocolate digestives. You're probably going to see me waving that same biscuit around for a while because I didn't really want to film the same sort of biscuits over and over again. But then for dinner, I had a mixture of some sweet potato, carrot, some green bell pepper, chorizo, all mixed together in a sort of a hash, and then topped it with a couple of fried eggs as well. A lot of these things were starting to need using up, so I figured that would be a super yummy way to do it. Then for Thursday, again, I didn't really have breakfast, but I just had some more biscuits as a morning snack. My break was, I think my break was a little bit earlier actually on this. I think it was at 10:45 instead, so it at least resembled a more actual morning break. And for my sort of afternoon snacks, where it was 2 o'clock, sort of as my proper lunch break, I just had a banana. As you can see, they're starting to turn a little bit. And I just had another one of those salami sticks and another baby bell as well. Before, in the end, for dinner, I just went and finished off the rest of that chorizo with some yellow bell pepper and some fresh tomato, with some avocado, little gem lettuce, and some more fried eggs as well. Felt pretty nutritious. Obviously, in some ways, pretty high in fat, but obviously, things like the avocado, it's these sort of healthy fats, quote unquote. For Friday, again, I completely bypassed breakfast and I just had another one of those bananas, another salami stick, and some baby bells as well. I was so sure that I'd filmed it for the morning of Friday, but I couldn't find the footage anywhere. But yeah, I still have a few of those bananas left and they are definitely starting to turn, which by now you'll know that is pretty much standard when it comes to me and buying bananas and actually getting around to eat them. Then in the afternoon, I just grabbed a few more of those biscuits as well. I'm pretty sure I moved on to the dark chocolate biscuits by that point. Then for dinner, I just had some tuna, some with mayonnaise and some sweet corn mixed through, a little potato sort of baked, done as a jacket potato in the microwave, and a bit of avocado as well. And as always, I appreciate so much you taking the time to watch. If you did enjoy, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. And of course, join in the conversation below. And I'll see you again next time.